Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's the deal, man?
What's the deal? What's happening? What's going on? It is episode 57 of the Mid Carters and Catering Podcast. It is your boy, it is AJ here with Aunt P.
What's the deal?
Aunt, what's going on?
Man, tired. Uh,
Look like you
long,
were like
long.
doing some handiwork over there, some shit real quick.
I was trying to fix something over there, man, but I'm not about another thing. No, I had my job Christmas party yesterday, man, and yeah, that shit was wild, man. Everybody was fucking drunk. I'll say that much.
No, that's usually how it goes with company. This company Christmas party, I'm assuming.
Yeah, open bar all night. I had a bottle of white Hennessy anyway, so it was just and motherfuckers. I was walking around that bitch looking like a mob boss or some shit. So
definitely time to show out. Definitely time to show out for sure. Yeah, it's been a minute since we had like took the last week off because we had we trying to get prepared for the year end episode, you know what I'm saying, which is next week. Uh and trying to get those things prep together. We had up we threw up an episode of Turner Truthers. I think it was Slamboree 2000, threw up an episode of that.
Yeah, it's Slamboree, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, David Arquette, Slamboree. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we was able to throw that up. Gabby is not here with us right now. She's a bit under the weather, so definitely sending well wishes to Gabby. You know, feel better soon.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. You know, it's holiday season. As always, man, my this week primarily has probably been focused on like my mental health for sure.
As it should be.
Yeah, I've been throwing through the ringer this week, but you know, trying to make my way out, maybe climb from under, you know what I'm saying, and keep it going. But I couldn't not let that affect, you know what I'm saying, like the podcast, and you know, I definitely want to be here today because not only are we back with a new one and we're getting ready to show y'all, you know, hit y'all with a whole heap of content.
Yep.
We we have a guest. We have a very special guest in the building with us this evening. Um he's coming from the Oddball Podcast and also one half of the illustrious Wrasslerap Podcast. We have none other than Vin Forte. What's up, Vin?
Oh my God, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
How you guys doing?
Hey, you're doing good. Hey, but hold on. I gotta give you your applause. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? Also have to throw a little horns in there. Vin is in the house, man. Vin is in the house.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you coming on for sure. Vin, you know, it's been I've been wanting to get you on here for quite some time and everything like that. And I know you're very busy, you know what I'm saying?
No, all you had to do was ask.
Handling two different podcasts. Oddball Podcast for sure. I've been checking it out lately and everything, and it's been like really, really dope. So pretty much your concept, I want to say, is sports focused on the Oddball Podcast.
Yeah, I would say so. Very basketball heavy, but very light. Like I think one of the things I want to do is I don't like the seriousness that comes with a lot of sports talk right now, especially like being someone who's very on like NBA Twitter and wrestling Twitter and social media. It's garbage. It's a shit fest a lot of the time, and I think we kind of all need to step back and be like, this is a little ridiculous. Yeah. And when a big issue comes along, I like to tackle it from a lot of different angles by myself, and then also sort of undercut everything with like usually once or twice an episode. I'll pick like either something very light or something sort of goofy from sports past or something food related that's ridiculous. That just to sort of undercut everything. Like recently, I did a whole segment on Shaq and Hakeem Olajuwon back in the '90s, partnered with Taco Bell to do like a rematch from the finals, and that fell through. But there was going to be a whole thing. Donald Trump was involved. He was going to be at the Taj Mahal, and then David Stern, as David Stern does, came in at the last second, like that weekend, and like put the stomp on the whole thing. It was like, nah, we're not doing a basketball related event outside of the NBA with these two guys.
Oh wow, was it like gonna be like on the lines of like a pay-per-view
Oh,
type thing?
it was a pay per view. There were ads for it. You can go look up the ads.
Yeah.
Like Taco Bell was the main sponsor, and they were running a bunch of Taco Bell ads for it, and it was going to be a live pay per view, a one on one basketball game at the Taj Mahal.
Wow.
I don't know
Wow.
what the undercard was going to be for something like that, or if it was just going to be like one event. Like, okay, we're going to watch 40 minutes of them doing one on one. Like, I don't know what the details were going to be, and we'll sadly never know.
Yeah, it looks like, and it's interesting knowing like how like the future between Kareem and Shaq was before. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder like if Kareem might have said anything like, "Nah, hell no," or maybe he bowed out last minute. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to give away like a lot of the podcast, a lot of your podcast episode that you covered and everything.
No, I don't know if Hakeem had anything to do with. I think it was all just David Stern.
Yeah, sound like David Stern for
Yeah,
sure.
that's definitely a David Stern move for sure. Yeah, like I definitely like dig the Oddball podcast a lot because like you had like one of my favorite YouTube channels. You did an
Oh, the Secret
episode.
Base.
Yeah, Secret Base, man. I'm so like addicted to that channel.
Yes, yeah, it's Seth Rosenthal from Secret Base. He's
Yeah,
been on a
yeah,
couple times. This was the first time since I've been doing video, which was very cool because we tackled the series they did, the 3-part series on Shaq and Kobe.
yeah. Real good series too.
Yeah.
Real good
Uh,
series. Matter of fact, it got me to actually like read the book. I think it was Three Ring Circus.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Jeff Pearlman book.
yeah, it got me to like read that book to try to like really like go in depth because I'm a Lakers fan, so
Hmm.
it's a whole lot of things I didn't know about like their entire beef during that three-peat run. Like I didn't know like exactly how early that whole beef between them two started. You know what I'm saying in terms of Shaq and Kobe. That whole time they were winning, I thought everything was like copacetic or whatever. And then when it
No.
wasn't until they lost to the Pistons where they they probably had that was around that time is when they had that falling out and everything like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a whole lot I didn't learn. I mean, I was what about 13 years old at the time, so I didn't understand all the drama and everything of that nature. But really, really cool. So, um, outside of the Oddball podcast, you also are involved with Wrestle Rap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how exactly did that come to be?
Well, that was just I've known Emilio Sparks, who does Wrestle Rap, for about 15 years now. We went to college together.
Oh wow.
Worked at the college radio station together. He did a hip hop show for years, from like it was like 11 to 2 in the morning, like 10 to 2 in the morning, something like that. So he would be in there like real late nights, and he would have like a lot of New York rappers come in, a lot of Staten Island guys, a lot of Wu Tang members. I remember I stayed one night. Night he had Redman come in. That
Mm,
was really fun. Hanging out with Redman it's something else. He came and he. All I remember is he came and he had this like gigantic Ziploc bag full of weed
Sound
that
about
he
right.
was just that he was just showing off to everyone.
Sound about right.
He was just really proud of it. Like like Emilio had a friend of ours, this like guy who shoots photos. He kept going up to like, get a picture of this, get a picture of this. Like, we show off the goods. And he's like showing off this giant bag of weed. And I remember that night because Redman had this idea that he had pitched where he was trying to get a radio station off the ground at the time.
mm,
And he had mentioned that he had like other play. This is around the time he wanted to do like How High 2. he had like an app in the works or something back when apps were like in their infancy. I don't know if any of these projects ever got off the ground, but the one that sticks out to me is he wanted to do a radio station where they played hip hop songs and then also the songs that those songs sampled.
Oh
Because he
wow.
wanted to have a radio station that like taught a younger generation about sampling and like where these songs came from.
Yeah.
But as far as Emilio is concerned, yeah, like I met him back then. We stayed friends. We worked on a couple projects together, including like a website in the early 2010s. We've both been podcasting for about 10 years. When I joined Wrasslerap, basically he had been doing it with Kaz. Shout out to Kazim Famuyide, who a lot of your listeners may know from, he's done a lot of work with WWE. He's done a little work with AEW. He has a bunch of different podcasts. Say Less with Kaz. He's got the stuff he does for like Sports Bet or whatever it is. The Count It podcast, which is his basketball pod. He's done stuff with the Knicks before and MSG PM. Like Kaz is all over the place. Like he's fantastic. But him and Emilio started Wrasslerap. Then Kaz left. It was Emilio for a little bit, and then I joined right before, I think like around episode like 90 or something like that. And now we're up to. I've been on ever since. In fact, in the beginning, I took over for Emilio because he had gotten a job at the WWE for a little bit, and he couldn't do the podcast. So he was like, he slipped me in as like the person who was going to fill in for him indefinitely until he decided he wanted to come back. So there was like a stretch for like half a year where it was just me doing it, and then Emilio came back, and then it was me and Emilio, and it stayed me and Emilio basically since like probably the early days of the pandemic, like since 2020.
Oh, okay. Nice. So, originally from New York.
Yeah, we're both from Staten Island.
Oh, he's from Staten Island. Okay, so I assume that you're a Knicks fan.
No, I hate the Knicks. I'm a Nets fan.
Oh, he's a Nets guy. Okay. I was almost hit the horns. But
Man.
So we got a Knicks fan, a Pistons fan, a Lakers fan.
I don't want to talk about them Pistons, man. I
wouldn't want to.
Yeah, no, nobody's getting that free wing stuff.
No free wing stop tonight.
Definitely not tonight, man. There's no way that's happening. They getting their ass whooped. So, yeah.
So being from New York and everything like that, and like just everything, your involvement that in pro wrestling, like we always like to say with our guests is that everybody kind of has a story when it comes to this, and we always have to ask this question to pretty much anyone who comes in here, and it is what was or who was the first pro wrestler or pro wrestling event or something that got little Vin to say, wow, I like this. This is fucking cool.
Yeah, I think if there was like a singular match or pay-per-view that I always go back to, it's probably WrestleMania 10.
Okay.
Like I have very vivid memories of watching that Intercontinental ladder match.
Yeah.
And
Sean and Razor.
Yeah, Sean Razor. And it's just blowing me the fuck away. Like, and it's proof, like you can go back and watch that match today and it still holds up. It's not like,
Oh, shit.
it's like, I don't really see what the big deal is now, but I understand why it was a big deal then. It's like, no, I could watch that match today. I could watch that match 10 years from now, 50 years from now, it'll still hold up. Because it tells a great story. I think that more than anything has informed how I view wrestling. Like a lot of the criticism I have with AEW right now, and that I had with WWE a couple of years ago, is that a lot of times people will get caught up in the in-ring work. And to me, it's like the in-ring work is great. Like in-ring work in 2023 is dazzling. Like there's no shortage of amazing wrestlers. Now, what are you going to do to actually sell me on them? Like everyone can work.
Yeah.
There's a million fucking wrestlers that can go out and give you a 5-star match. But what makes it like a true 5-star match for me is, can you get me invested in the story? What are you gonna make me? What are you gonna do to get me invested in whether or not this person actually wins this fucking match? Because if you can't do that, then I'm out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem that AEW has right now. And again, to be fair, like we've been knocking AEW recently on Wrasslerap, and people have come out of the woodwork and been like, "Oh, well, why you guys shit on AEW? Like, this is just because Emilio worked at WWE, so you're WWE guys." But like 2 years ago, I was the one coming on the pod every week going, "I don't watch WWE unless they give me a reason to." So like you can't have it both ways. Like sometimes like it's peaks and valleys. Like AEW had a really great run for a couple of years, and now they're in a weird position where they have to like figure out what the fuck they're doing. And are they going to get there? I don't know. I hope they do. I'm not hoping they don't.
Yeah.
But WWE was in the same exact position, if not worse, like 3-4 years ago, when they were doing like the wild card rule and the 24/7 title. Like those were dark fucking times for WWE, because that was peak like Vince McMahon meddling and like making the call, right, throwing all the times you would hear that he's like ripping up scripts before the show and like doing things on the fly while the show is going on. Like that's not stuff you want. And it showed in the product. So like WWE and AEW are at their best when they're telling a story. I'll give you an example for both companies recently. For WWE, it's the Bloodline and the Sammy stuff recently.
Yeah.
You can't get any better than like that 3 pay-per-view run of Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, and Backlash in Puerto Rico is almost undefeated. You can't name another time where there's been as loud a crowd for a 3 pay-per-view run.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, you think you would, but I've gone back and actually thought about it. It may exist. I haven't come up with the example yet. Maybe in the Attitude Era. Like, the only thing I can think of is like the No Way Out going into WrestleMania 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like other than that, not so much. But the reason that worked is because of Sami Zayn, because of the Bloodline, because these were characters. Every time you would get to their segment on SmackDown, everyone would shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, oh, hold on, we gotta see this.
Yeah.
Like we gotta see what's going on. And same thing with AEW when they did, I think the best feud they've ever done in AEW so far was the Kenny Hangman feud.
Love it.
And
Love
the only problem, the only problem with that feud is that Hangman, I don't think, was a great champion. I think the moment was great of him getting over on Kenny and him finally winning it. But then like the actual run wasn't that spectacular.
It's like, could he be the man? You know what I'm saying? Like he had a hard time being the man. A hard time selling being the man, so to speak.
Yeah, and again, like you see in AEW right now, when you don't, they're having this Continental Classic, and it's great. The matches are great, and there's certainly like some good stories that are probably going to come out of it. But you look at the women's division, and if your name's not Toni Storm right now, they don't really have anything for you.
Right.
And it's funny because when they had Jade doing her long run, someone like Nyla Rose had a lot of personality and gave Jade one of her best feuds, because Nyla Rose had done that thing where she stole the belt and was using social media a lot and like going around like showing off that she stole the belt and she could be very funny.
Yeah, trying to make it interesting.
But then they never capitalized on it. Like, okay, then she loses to Jade, and then like we haven't really seen, she's popped up, but like we haven't really seen a big program with her since. I don't quite understand that. It's kind of like what they like. It's like I don't understand what they did with Keith Lee recently. Like, regardless of what people may think of Keith Lee, like you have him fight Samoa Joe for the title, the Ring of Honor TV title, and then you have Samoa Joe fucking choke him out in the middle of the ring clean, only to just give up the title immediately after the match. Like, it doesn't make any fucking
It
sense.
made no sense at all. Made no so it was just like it just became vacated at that point.
And he just vacated. He's like, oh, I'm going to go on to bigger and better things. Which I that's another reason I don't like when people vacate secondary titles, because you're supposed to make that title. This is supposed to be you going, you know what? This isn't the top title, but this is the championship title, and this is my title. I'm gonna make it the most important title to me.
Like
And
imagine,
like
imagine Gunther just doing that. Like
imagine exactly. Like imagine Gunther being like, you know what? I've had this title for 500 days or whatever. I'm getting a little sick of it. I want to go for bigger fish. Someone else take this over, and you'll have a tournament to get it. Like you wouldn't fly. You'd be like, what was that for?
And it's fucked up because the ROH TV title has so much prestige to it, you know?
Yeah.
And it just diminished it by like, yeah, fuck this shit. You know, here, y'all deal with it. I want the AEW world title. That's fucked up.
Yeah, and then some AEW fans will come out and be like, well, you know, what would you have had them do with it? I don't know, not that. I don't get paid to book the fucking shows, so I can only judge it based on what they did.
yeah, and it's like, I mean, they don't. It's already enough. They diminished that title. They already diminished ROH as an entirety altogether. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it's made to be special in the first place. You know, which is already a fucked up situation.
Well, this is another big critique of AEW right now, which is I feel like Tony Khan specifically plays this game where he's waiting for the right moment to pull the trigger on certain things.
Yep.
Instead of just having a plan B and just rolling with it. And there's three examples of that. One is Jade, when they kept the belt on Jade a little too long because he wanted to wait for Chris Statlander to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of people felt that it was like too little, too late by the time she took the belt off her. Yeah. Then you have the example of Ring of Honor just in general, where it came out that they probably could have gotten on CW, but he was like, "Well, no, I'm going to hold out for the HBO Max." Meantime, you're not doing anything.
Technical difficulties, but
yeah, Van just broke up a little bit there.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's making a good point here.
That's the CW deal, man. Oh my god. Dog.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's real nasty. Like with like how they just pretty much just fumbled that, because everybody knows now that WWE capitalized on that. So now NXT is going to CW now, so that just shut the door on any type of potential for AEW to make a move over there too. And and when we get to the newsworthy things, hopefully we get Vin back in a second.
Mm-hmm.
We get over to the newsworthy things. There are some things to talk about in terms of television rights incoming in terms of WWE going forth in the future. Some of which Tony may need to be a little alarmed about soon. So
yeah,
I don't know about that.
And we're good to go.
Good to go.
All right. It still says paused.
Oh, what the hell? Well, that's strange. Oh, I think it's good now.
Now
the counter's going now. Technical difficulties.
It happens.
Yeah. But speaking of difficulties, going back to AEW, they even with their Ring of Honor deal, they could have gone on the CW, but he wanted to hold out and wait for the perfect opportunity with HBO Max. Now it's funny that it's coming out this week that maybe allegedly Raw is in talks with Max to maybe doing something with Warner Discovery. So I don't know what that's going to mean for AEW. If they somehow get kicked off, I mean, I get both sides of it, because Warner Discovery just invested in a whole new show on Saturday nights, and doesn't seem like they're getting investment at the correct investment out of it. It's not that it's pulling like god awful numbers for Saturday night, but I also thought that Warner Discovery would have integrated AEW into their streaming a little sooner. I'm a little surprised that they haven't up to this point. That's not something that you can get Max and watch last night's Dynamite or Collision. I feel like that would play really well for the kind of audience that also pays $9.99 a month for Peacock just to get WWE.
And I think that's a perfect segue to say,
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Uh-oh.
perfect timing that Vin brought up the WBD and WWE meeting, because yes, that is true. That so to speak, that Hunter and Nick Khan they've been shopping WWE Raw, because we all know already SmackDown has a deal, NXT has their deal. SmackDown is going to USA in October of next year, uh, and NXT is going to CW around the same time. So all there's left is WWE. I mean, I'm sorry, all that's left is WWE Raw. So
Right.
interesting that Vin brings that up, in terms of like AEW's issues, because I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, they did report some revenues, about like 180 million, I think, but they're still running at a loss, because on the front end of that, 85 million of that, actually it was less than 180 million. I'm sorry. It was like maybe 130 million, but 85 million dollars of that is going towards talent alone. And the rest I have to assume is overhead, and also overhead that Tony probably is also coming out of his own pocket with that at the same time. They're not making gate. That's obvious. We see those empty seats in those arenas. They're not filling out arenas. Last time they had a somewhat nice size attendance, and that was all in, and that was back in August, the beginning of August.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been down ever since, especially after CM Punk was fired. And if you're not making gate, your numbers in terms of viewership is staggered. Like they haven't even been able to hit the 900,000 mark. I mean, Dynamite alone has been literally within that 800 to 700,000 mark. They lost to NXT not too long ago on that Tuesday head to head. And I mean, we don't even have to bring up Rampage. And then when we look at Saturday Collision, I mean, come on. Like, if there wasn't even a worse time for Saturday Collision to happen, it's definitely during college football season. And then you take Saturday Collision and you try to go head to head against WWE PLEs, which also take place on Saturday. So it's really not making a good case for WBD in terms of TV deal selling with AEW right now. If you ask me, like, I don't think that
Yeah.
that's making a good case.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, again, they're in a very peculiar spot. Like, you've got all this TV time and all these stars they need to push. And they're constantly adding new stars, so that takes TV time away from people who they maybe hired several months before. So it's this weird cycle of, okay, we keep growing, and in that sense, like, that's great. But the more we grow, the more TV time we have to fill, the more people we feel like we have to acquire, which is going to push more people down the card, which is going to sort of poison or sour the locker room in some respects. And it makes me feel like this company maybe started to run before they learned how to walk.
That
They had that they had 2 hours. It used to be, and we're not even including the dark stuff on YouTube, which they eventually got rid of. But there used to be, the essential stuff was 2 hours a week, 2 hours on Wednesdays. So what that did is that made sure that you had to know what are the like 5 to 8 things that we need to show you.
Uh-oh.
Oh man,
Did we lose Van again?
This
Verizon.
on,
Yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
no, Van's there.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
and,
Yeah.
and then
Sorry,
you
man.
add and then you add a show on Friday nights. You add 2 hours on Saturday night, and now all of a sudden you go from a very lean, sort of easy to easy barrier to entry for new wrestling fans with just a 2 hour show on Wednesdays that's going to show you the best of what this company has to offer, to now we got to find spots for everyone, and we're always adding new people, so we got to find spots for them as well. People that aren't as new but are still fairly new because we acquired them a little while ago, and it's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Like, cause you got to think about it. Like going back to like, if you want to go back to Raw and Nitro days, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't always like to reference the Attitude Era or anything like that, but it's just like Raw was on television for so long by itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, because in the logical sense, you want to set a base. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to set a base, like you want to set a base, and then you want to allow that base to grow into like loyalty, to loyal viewers, loyal viewership. And you want to do that, you want to build that over time. And no matter if you were WWE Raw or if you were WCW Nitro, you still want to build off of that. And it took like SmackDown didn't start until 1999, and by that time you had a bona fide star with The Rock,
Mm-hmm.
because you built that show based upon it being The Rock show,
Right.
and you did that after. And I want to say Raw debuted in 93,
It was around that time. It was some
92,
years.
93.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
you at least let a 6-year window happen before you even thought about bringing in the second show. Like with Tony, Rampage legit, like it was within a year or two pop, you know what I'm saying? Plus, like, and nobody was watching Rampage because we still weren't taking AEW seriously like that still, because at the end of the day, it was still looked upon as, oh, this is just a show that's just they're just trying to shit on WWE, calling themselves an alternative at the time. It wasn't until literally they got CM Punk, Danielson, and Adam Cole in to where it was like, oh shit, maybe we need to pay a little attention here. Okay, cool. But even with that, you still have to use that time to build a base on Dynamite without thinking about a second show. Let that breathe for a minute to get millions of eyes on Dynamite by itself, and then we talk about secondary shows after you at least are successful with that over a couple years. It's like you were saying, Van, they started walking before they can crawl.
I think one of the biggest things too was he was just trying. It's a couple things. When Vince said they're running before they learn how to walk, great analogy, because the video game, prime example.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
How that went.
Another
Yeah.
piece of overhead.
Yeah, that's kind of got them in the red right now, just off of that. You know what I'm saying? You put out a product that was decent, but people didn't really go back to play it. It was just whatever. And another thing too, why he kept doing these shows was he was trying to make everybody happy, because people were complaining they wasn't getting TV time and all of the other stuff. So he's like, all right, I created Rampage for you guys so you can wrestle on here, get your guys some TV time and all that. And it was just giving people TV time that didn't need TV time, if you want to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. And it's just like, and if you want to build your way, and the thing is, and it goes the same in WWE. If you want TV time, you're gonna have to show me how you can. Like, you gotta, whenever you out there, you gotta make it. You gotta show me everything you got to deserve that time.
And another thing too, my fault. Another thing
No,
too is they were so busy trying to be competition for WWE.
Yes.
When they just never should have. They just focused on running their own race in their own lane, just
building their own identity,
building their own product, building their stars. That's one of the things that I feel like that really handicapped and like cut them off at the legs. Was trying to do that, just trying to step up, and just listening to these fans, let them like, you can compete with them. All this, that just being too online. Tony Khan is way too online to be. He just looks at everything. He look like, oh, okay. These people think we can go to war with them. Let's go to war with them, and then just now look.
And the thing is, in between all of that, the only casualties of that war has been the talent that has left AEW since saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I gotta ask Vin, you know what I'm saying? I know we got news and stuff like that, but we having a really good conversation here. And so in terms of like talents that have left, I mean, of course, talk of the town has been CM Punk. And I like how. What is your take on this whole thing with CM Punk?
I think that the only way CM Punk makes this a successful WWE return is if he goes into one mode and one mode only. I was talking to Wrasslerap, and I'm glad it seems to be coming to fruition. And that is if he becomes company man Punk. If he starts going out there and saying, I love WWE, I'm home, which he's been saying, and he's really been playing it up like, oh, when he made that crack about Kevin Owens, like, oh, we can't, be going around the back punching people in the face. Like, it's 2023. We just can't be doing that. Which that's a whole other thing that the crowd didn't pop for that, which goes to show that not everyone in the crowd is online or as online as people would assume.
Or may not care.
Yeah, or just don't care.
Yeah.
But as far as CM Punk goes, like he's kind of got to play the part that he created for himself. He's got to be the villain, and he's got to play it as like the corporate villain, where he's coming back to WWE, and he's loving it. Yeah, he's doing it for the money, but who isn't doing their job for the money? Like he's there. He wants to get into NXT now. He wants to train people. He's like, it's been like 3 weeks. He's like all in on the WWE process already. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe he genuinely is. Like that is definitely an option. That he genuinely sees that the grass maybe he thought was greener on the outside, but that maybe he really does feel like he's home after seeing that Vince isn't there anymore. There's a whole other parent company running WWE at this point. Triple H is probably a different person. Punk is probably in a different place. And, we made a lot of cracks about CM Punk on Wrasslerap, but I think look at that. Where's this picture of
look
the
at
male
this.
NXT talent?
Look, I mean, look at that. Like him right here with Cora Jade and
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez. Yeah. Like he said it's daddy daughter day at work here.
Yeah,
daddy
exactly.
daughter day.
Wow.
At work. Like this is it's almost like it's just like what you were saying. Like he has to become that company man Punk, which he is being. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it's showing a lot of this is kind of like what he really truly wanted to do in AEW. Like he wanted to like really ingrain himself with the younger talent and like help them elevate and help them out and to get them to somewhat look up to him in a sense, but it just didn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Over in AEW, I think a lot of egos clashed in the mix. There were some who absolutely did want to like get with Punk and everything like that. I just think that it was just too late. Like Ricky Starks is, for example, he's one of those people that really was wanted to work with Punk, really wanted to get with Punk. Oh, we lost Vin again. Wanted to get with Punk, wanted to really like see, get some gems, get some jewels from Punk and everything like that. But I mean, you looking at him right now, like he's completely energized. He looks different. He looks in shape.
Yeah, I was about to say that. He looks in shape like a motherfucker. Like
he looks in shape. I think really one of the things about his return back to WWE in a sense, it's not the same company that he left in was it 2014.
It's a much friendlier place.
Yeah, it's not the same company that he left behind. Like he walked in, it's completely different now. You know, like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not. He I think even see is even run differently, and of course you can somewhat kind of attribute that to Hunter running the show now, but it was also kind of shifting that way anyway later on with Vince in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like when Cody returned back to company, I think that's really when the true shift began in terms of the change of the company.
Well, I also think that again he went to AEW and thought that it was going to be a professionally run organization.
Yeah,
for lack of a better way of putting it. But when you've got the Young Bucks as the EVPs,
that's a problem.
That's a big problem.
yeah,
Because they're not EVPs. They're not corporate guys. Like if you want to give them that as a title, great. But there's a lot that should come with that. And I personally don't think they're mature enough to handle that. And we saw that with the Punk situation.
yeah.
Because when Punk left the second time, these guys who refuse to show up on Collision, despite the fact that it's their company and they're two of the biggest stars in the company and could probably help that brand, make a name for itself.
Mm-hmm.
They show up after a show and do a fucking victory lap in the ring after Punk leaves. You're the EVPs of the company, and you're basically telling people, hey, yeah, our biggest star just left. Like, hooray. It's like, no, you're fucked.
It's like they want
you're in a bad position.
Themselves.
You should care a little bit more about your own fucking company.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a plaything to them. They don't really care about if it's being successful or not. They just want to have attention on themselves. As you can tell, the crowd don't even care about the Young Bucks. They're like X-Pac go away heat right now. They're like, whatever. You don't want to see. Yeah, you've seen the same stuff.
Yeah, like that. Like even going back to like the first, after Brawl Out, when because the Elite came back to work first, and they had that silly ass match where they were over there basically mocking Punk. So Kenny 100% was, what I'm saying, like he was like front and center, like doing the GTS and then doing a botch buckshot lariat that Punk didn't get off and everything like that, and doing the ace steel bite, arm bite and all that. It's like come on guys, like y'all are executive vice presidents of this company. Y'all acting like fucking kids over this. Like it's a joke. Like how even me as a viewer supposed to take you guys seriously? And you got your asses kicked.
And you got your asses kicked. And not for nothing, but even in the Brawl Out scrum, when CM Punk is sitting next to Tony Khan and he's going off about like, this place is run by fucking children, like all that goofy fuckhead Hangman Page or whatever. Tony Khan's just sitting there letting them go off.
Yeah.
If I'm running that company, that shit ain't happening.
No, not at all.
I'm cutting that off right at the pass. I'm taking the mic from him. I don't care if we have to call to work later on. Like, I'm cutting this off before it gets any worse.
That's because Tony Khan was always trying to be friendly. He wants to be friends with these guys. He want to be like the bros. That's why he be letting this happen.
And he's a fan.
He's a fan. This wouldn't have happened under Vince. It's not going to happen under Triple H. Stuff like that is not going to happen under them too. At all. Like, it's just people, they don't fear Tony Khan. Like, you have wrestlers, you have
Jericho said it. Jericho said it himself that like people, didn't necessarily fear the people in charge. And look, not that you have to walk around work fearing your bosses all the time.
But there has to be a certain level of respect.
There has to be a certain level of respect. You can't just give the impression. It's like, everyone always has those one or two teachers, throughout your time in school where it seems like, oh, this is a jackpot. Like, this teacher's so nice. They don't give any homework. Like, but then someone like halfway through the year fucks it up for everyone because like you'll be doing a lesson and teacher will realize, oh, wait a minute, nobody did the homework. Mm-hmm. Nobody did the homework. What do I look like? You just fucking walk all over me and you see them snap.
Yeah.
And all of a
Then
sudden, it's
then they
like,
all failed the whole class right there on that test.
yeah. Then it's like, then the whole class realizes like, oh shit, we mistaken their kindness for weakness. And Tony Khan like doesn't seem like he ever really had that moment where he put the hammer down and was like, listen, I'm very nice to you guys. Like I'm giving you guys a lot of rope here, but don't fucking hang yourself with it. Like, because I will come down on you.
He need like an authority figure, like somebody that they have to answer to. And
get a real fucking HR rep. Why is like Brian Danielson being the hall monitor?
Yeah, that's crazy. That right there is crazy enough.
You may trust Brian Danielson. He may be like, you know, your closest confidant or like the most trustworthy person in the locker room. It shouldn't be anyone in the locker room.
Yeah. And Danielson doesn't even hold like a ranking, like a corporate ranking within the company as a whole anyway. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people want to say, well, isn't like a lot of people involved in creative? Ain't a lot of people doing this and doing that? It's just like the Punk move was not a creative decision. That was literally a human resources situation. Yeah. So for someone like Danielson to be involved in that, like that's some bullshit, bro. Like that looks like
insane.
Yeah, that looks like some police hall monitoring type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when I heard that, I instantly called Danielson a cop. I said, "Oh, so he's a cop."
Yeah, like don't you have an HR team? Like have the HR team do an investigation. Like if you want, like now it'd be one thing if they said, "Well, you know, we interviewed a bunch of wrestlers, and you know Danielson." Was in the interview process, whatever. But it seems like he like had a vote in whether or not, you know, they fired Punk.
Yeah.
Which people were saying, oh, well, you know, Tony Khan had the final say. I don't care who had the final say. Like, why was Danielson in a meeting that determined like what the recommendation was going to be?
It don't even look like he had the final say, to be honest with you. He just like, oh
no, it looked like his hand was forced. That's what it looked like. Because in the grand scheme of things, Tony didn't want to fire Punk. He didn't want.
Man, Tony Khan he doesn't want to fire anybody. Like there's
no, he's the one who brought Punk back.
Yeah, yeah. Like you don't like what Vin was saying, like yes, it is perfectly normal to have personality like interviews with other talent. Like, hey, has he ever been threatening? Like they do this at regular jobs. Like they'll say like whenever situation, and they do it in confidentiality too. That stuff doesn't leak out. So that also further lets you know that not only are they, you know, you got this person involved in this situation. He's also somehow talking to somebody and giving information to these damn journalists.
Well, the place is leaking like a sieve right now.
Yeah, it's leaking like
he's got to put his foot down. Like plain and simple. He's got to come out, have like an all hands meeting, and be like, "Listen, I don't like the way things are being done right now. The buck stops with me. If I find out anyone's been leaking to Meltzer, leaking to Sean Ross Sapp, anybody, you're done." Like no questions. Like we're just a goodbye.
Yeah,
there's definitely a couple of people that need to be gone. That I know that's leaking a lot of information over there.
I mean,
I'm not gonna say their name.
We just talked about.
Yeah. But there's another one too that wasn't mentioned. I'm not gonna mention his name, but we know. Yeah.
Of course. But you know, I mean, while we on AEW, and this is the other problem that I be having when AEW again takes losses, you get people like Chris Jericho, for example. Like this attitude of when AEW's back is against the wall, this rally the troops performance they always put on, it's so annoying. And like Chris Jericho is always at the lead of this shit every single time. Like when it came down to criticisms about them having identity crisis, and I don't understand why at this point it's not registering. Because if I'm saying it, Ant saying it, Vin saying it, and millions of other people outside of us are saying the same thing, then something must be true because we're not all crazy. To say, and he says people's opinions are opinions, especially on social media where everybody's going to say what they think with no consequences and mostly negativity. I think our shows have been great. Really? The matches have been great, and we've done a great job of balancing storylines along these amazing matches. The most important thing we've been doing is building stars. If that's not the biggest piece of bullshit I've heard all
Who are
week,
these stars you've been building?
who are the stars you're building?
Who are the
What
stars? Because
storylines?
you know who could have been a big star in the past 6 months. Willow Nightingale,
Mm.
Action Andretti, who got a win over Jericho, and then we never fucking heard from him again.
Fumbled that one. Fumbled that one.
Keith Lee could, like we mentioned before, could have been going on a hot run right now with the Ring of Honor TV title.
They're gonna fuck Swerve up too.
I mean,
They're gonna fuck
but
Swerve.
when you talk about storylines, like, I mean, does Swerve even really have a storyline?
No.
Other than is it Swerve or is it Prince Nana that y'all really just like in that whole situation? Him just dancing. Is that really the one? Because it seems to me Nana is the one that's over, not Swerve.
They should do a few matches where he doesn't come out with Nana and see for themselves.
I mean, they've been doing that with the Continental Classic and everything, man. But it's just, it's so much this work rate. That's all they care about. Work rate. There's nothing, no story, nothing like that.
And the work rate only is involved with one person, and that's Meltzer. And for the most part, for the grander scheme of things, I want to believe that all three of us in this room right now are actually of the same age group. We don't give a flying fuck what Meltzer has to say about matches ratings anymore. We make up our own damn ratings at this point.
No, and to be fair to Dave Meltzer, because I've met him in person.
Yeah,
worked on a project that he was a part of, and he's a very nice guy. He's very knowledgeable. Like he is genuinely, like, his worth and his value to the wrestling community should be immeasurable because he's been there, done that, seen it. The thing that people get hung up on is the rating system. They get hung up on the stars, and he will be the first to tell you that the stars don't really fucking matter. Like, you got to actually read what he said about whatever match you're looking up. And you can disagree with whatever he's saying, but I would say 99% of people will just see the tweet about, oh, what did Meltzer give, this, performance at Survivor Series or on this AEW pay-per-view.
and that's when the argument starts.
They go, what? They gave this a 2, but he gave this a 5.5? Like, what? And they'll just start arguing. Meanwhile, I bet if you actually read a Meltzer review of that same match, you would probably be like, no, he's pretty correct on it. Like, but again, people get caught up in the stars and the ratings, and I guess the counter argument to that would be, well, just don't do the stars and the ratings. But that's what gets people into the conversation. That's why
it's his gimmick.
That's why Siskel and Ebert did 2 thumbs up, thumbs down.
2 thumbs down, right?
I mean, it's his gimmick. You can't you can't take that from him. That's his gimmick.
No,
he's gonna
no.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, though, like, to say, like, at this point, we kind of like taking the charge on that too, to like develop our own system of match rating and all and everything.
Yeah, like I don't give a I don't give a fuck what Dave rates a match. I love Dave. I love you, but I don't give a fuck if you gave something a 5. So because his definition of a 5-star match may be completely different from my definition of a 5-star match.
Right. Exactly. Like, and that's my whole point at the same time too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying, like, what you may have given a 3, I enjoy it from beginning to goddamn end, and it could have been the most stiff ass match with little work rate possible. Like, I don't care if I was entertained by the damn thing, and that's the end of story. Like, Dave's match ratings don't move me. You know what I'm saying? So, but to sit over here and say that, in terms of like Jericho, to say like, oh, it's always negativity. It's like, no, we're just calling a spade when it comes down to the product. Like your crowds, like it could feel a high school gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, I'm not on a Saturday. I'm sorry. I'm watching the Big Ten or SEC football. Like, I'm not watching Collision, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, because for one, storylines like what Vin was saying earlier. What is a match without a storyline? I'm sorry, I'm not tuning in for that. I'm not intrigued by that. I'm not moved by that. You know what I'm saying? Like there is sports entertainment and pro wrestling run one in the same. Literally, they do not exist one without the other.
Yeah, and the proof of that is whenever AEW gets a little more sports entertaining, that's when people kind of perk up a little bit. Like, why are people excited about Toni Storm? She's sports entertaining us right now.
Orange Cassidy,
very sports entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, like all the stuff that they were doing with Hangman and Kenny Omega. It was very sports entertaining at times with him and the Dark Order and, you know, their friendship and the will they, won't they stuff. Like, it was very sports entertainment. Nyla Rose, very sports entertaining. Like, it's not a secret. Like, it shouldn't be like this dirty word. Like, oh, well, they're being more like WWE. It's like, no, like WWE may have coined the word sports entertainment and put that like idea or that thought into the vernacular. But make no mistake about it. Like, for me to be the best well-rounded wrestler, you have to have that character element to you. Like, some people will try and make the argument that, oh, well, you know, I'm not even going to name names. Like, they'll be like, oh, so-and-so is the best wrestler going right now, and it's not even an argument. And I'll go, okay, but where's their character? Like, what's their most, notable feud? And they go, oh, well, they had a match. They're like, no, I didn't say match. Like, their feud.
Yeah.
Like, show me the feud that they had.
That built up to that match.
It built up to that match. You know, it doesn't need to be like a bunch of segments on TV. It doesn't need to be like New Japan. I love New Japan. They don't do TV in the same way that we do in America. They do some pretty great character work when they want to. So, like, you don't need a whole ton of TV time to do it. You just have to put it in with the time you have. It could be after matches. It could be in promos. It could be now, like, through social media. But you got to put it in there. Like, the past year, I think he's been doing a lot. He's been doing a much better job of this recently. But for a little,
Oh,
I was ready to hear that.
he was about to. I was ready to hear that
one
too.
in the world right now.
Oh, we got.
Can't be Will Ospreay.
Oh,
And yeah. And
Yeah, broke up
like,
a little bit, Van. My bad.
No. You're saying, oh, it's Will Ospreay.
Okay.
Like, it's got to be. And I would say, yeah, he's a great technical wrestler, but I don't know. Like, his storyline, like, I haven't seen, like, the feud that he's been in that's been, like, completely over the top. He's had a couple great rivalries with great in-ring work, but, like, now that he's going to be doing more in AEW this next year, I'd like to see him focus more on character work.
I mean, that's a thing. That's a big problem I have with Jay White. Like, he's just there. You know, there's nothing like, and in ring work, Jay White is great. But it's like you looking at him, it's just like, okay, you brought back Bullet Club, Bullet Club Gold, and it's just bang bang gang, all this shit, and there's just nothing else to it.
It's the same thing he was doing in New Japan, and that's lets you know it's like Jay White is not a character. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a character without Bullet Club.
Let me give you. So here's a prime example, like, of somebody who jumped ship. Lexus King. He actually has a fucking character now.
Yeah, he does.
It's still working on it. It's still trying to figure it out. And
the ring work. He's still
in the
trying
ring
to
work.
get
You gotta get that
yeah.
better at that too. But presentation, interest, and all that shit, fucking fire. You know, and he's building a character now. You know, he's an opportunist. He was like, hey, I didn't jump Trick Williams, but you know, I made it to the pay-per-view to fight Carmelo Hayes. That's what it's looking like. They're turning into an opportunist right now, and I like. And
just like this past week, he inserted himself into the breakout tournament, like by hitting my man's in the back with the chair. Like, again, you know what I'm saying? That's character building. That's showing us a little bit who Lexus King is.
I mean, fucking look what they doing with Von Wagner.
Yeah,
they're building. Yeah, that's. It's like, no, that's the all. And this is what I mean by AEW needs a booker. You need somebody who can focus 24/7 on booking and building characters. Tony Khan can't do it because he's running so much other shit. How are you writing and booking for two different for Ring of Honor and AEW, and you're supposed to be running the Jaguars? You got a team overseas, all these other businesses. This is a classic case of him spreading himself thin.
Yeah. No, he's micromanaging. I think he needs to delegate more. He needs to have people that he can trust to streamline the entire process in AEW. And I think one of the things they should have done already is they need a performance center or a power plant or something that they can invest in where it's like, hey, we've got new people that we're signing. Let's invest in them. Let's give them good contracts, put them on our books, and invest in them because, they're nothing right now, but we see something in these people we're picking up that we want them around 2 years from now, 5 years from now. And if we can pull that off, we'll have superstars, hopefully for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Like they've got to start thinking a little more long term, because this idea of we're just going to sign people from the indies, it might work. Some of it's worked, but eventually you're always just going to come back to, okay, 2-3 years from now, we got to do a contract dispute. We got to re-up. Whereas if you get people from the ground up, from a younger age, scout hot new talent, bring them in, mold them in your performance center to be AEW stars, I think there's a better chance of keeping people long term. You're going to breed familiarity. You're going to be giving them money early and putting them in your system early enough that they're going to feel like you're investing in them and not just bringing them in as like the hot new hire.
Yeah. And that's my thing. And I complete, like, you took the words right out of my mouth on that. Like, because when I look at AEW talent, to be honest with you, and that's not all of them, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all know who does and who doesn't. They literally don't even look like they spend any time in a gym. Like,
yeah, I'm sorry, there's a difference when I look at Adam Cole between Adam Cole and AEW and how they made him look in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Like he looked. I'm not gonna say he looked jacked in NXT because he was never like a big jacked guy.
Well, he wasn't a big jack guy, like, but he looked fit.
He looked like he was ready to fight. He looked like $1 million. He looked like a star, to be completely honest.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you see him in AEW and he looks like a little anemic. Sometimes
he looked crazy. He looked crazy, and I understand, like, he's been injury, like, it seems like he's just been injury prone since he's been there. But like, when the last time you saw him, when which was that Full Gear, when he came out, I mean, if you told me he was a Twitch streamer, I'd be like, yeah, I totally believe that. Like, that was Chugs. That wasn't Adam Cole. Like, I'm like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it just doesn't work, man. Like, it doesn't work. Like, you have to, if you call yourself a star, you have to look like a star. And it's like, and it seems like every single person that's looked like a star has either left or they don't get on TV. You know what I mean? Like Wardlow.
Like I was just gonna say Wardlow. Like, Wardlow beat MJF like what, a year ago or whatever.
Man, you talk about dropping the ball, man.
Yeah, like, it was send him away in a stretcher, and then because they wanted to, I guess, capitalize on what people were saying on the internet, had MJF come back like later that week in a neck brace, but he was like running around the ring, yelling at Tony Khan. It's like, are you in a feud with Tony Khan or are you in a feud with Wardlow? And didn't Wardlow just beat you? Like, where's Wardlow? Like, what are we doing here?
I'll tell you the craziest thing they did with Wardlow. Wardlow was like, I don't want to be in the championship, like, battle royal. I'd rather just focus on this TNT title.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That
was crazy.
I'd rather fight Punk when he's healthy. I don't want to be in this. They could have made him. I don't know, man.
Warlow was getting Goldberg pops.
Well, again, like it goes like
he was getting Goldberg
again.
pops,
It's like
bro.
we would rather not do a plan B than just wait something out. Well, we'll have Wardlow wait until CM Punk gets back. Why?
Like,
He's hot now.
Like it's
Give him
crazy.
something to do.
It's crazy because they hadn't, like with the devil situation, they had no choice but to do a plan B because I already knew they were going to try to wait until Adam Cole gets healthy again and probably make him the devil, but they knew they couldn't do that. So
No, but now we're in a situation with the devil where I don't know who they could reveal it to be that would make anyone excited.
I'm sorry that Gabby's not here this week because she definitely was going to come bring that on the episode this week. Her and I'm gonna let her hold it. I'm gonna hold it for her for next week. But I'm gonna hold it for her. But yeah, y'all continue. I just want to throw that out there.
No, it's
again,
just,
get better, Gabby. Get better. Feel
because
better.
because who could it possibly be? Because you can't announce it's a new wrestler because people are just gonna be like, what? Like,
here we go again.
Like, who would you even announce? That could be. And okay, so it's leading towards it's probably Jack Perry.
Oh,
at this point, it's like, okay, who the hell cares? So it's just another competitor for MJF. Like, it's not anyone who's really intricate to his storyline right now, like it would have been if it was Adam Cole. And then if it is Adam Cole, that I guess is the best option because it would be like, oh, I guess, they fooled us. He's not really as injured as we thought he was, and he was playing this devil character. But still, I kind of don't really care if it's Adam Cole. Who's the devil? I don't know. I just would never have done this devil plot line to begin with because I just don't think there's any good way to pay it off.
It's retribution.
It's retribution. Because if it's Adam Cole,
it's Mustafa Ali.
Well, it might. Oh God! But like, assuming it was originally supposed to be Adam Cole, waiting this long to pull the trigger, and then having it be revealed to be Adam Cole. If they did that, I'm just gonna be like, it would have been much cooler if Adam Cole cost MJF a match.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why. I think I've just like worked it out in my head. Like, that's why I don't like the devil thing. Because there were already opportunities for him to betray him in front of 80,000 people in Wembley. And it would have been the biggest pop in the world because they all love Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do it. And they were like, see, we swerved you. We did the thing you didn't think we were going to do. It's like, no, sometimes doing the thing we expect is the right thing to do. Like, if I'm looking forward to eating a delicious steak dinner, when you give me the steak dinner, I'm going to enjoy it because I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Like, just because you swerve me and bring me fucking fettuccine Alfredo of chicken instead, like, it's not going to make me happy just because I like both things. I'm going to be upset. If anything, I'm going to be upset because I was expecting steak and you gave me something that I didn't even ask for.
Yeah. Yeah, again, and then it's just like how silly it was. I mean, y'all had them wrestle twice that night, 2 on top of that, then Adam Cole gets hurt. It's just it's so much overbooking. Yeah, I just saw that. AJ Styles is back and he helped out. He hit Roman with a phenomenal forearm, and then Randy, LA Knight standing tall, and then he punches LA Knight.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he walks away, It's not like he not joining the bloodline or nothing, but it looks like there's no allegiances no time soon for AJ Styles in this.
I wouldn't mind the AJ Styles and LA Knight feud. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that either. I mean, it just seems like, like maybe like everybody not friends. Everybody's not friends.
Yeah, give LA Knight a big win over AJ Styles. And then put LA Knight into the U.S. title picture and have him win at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think that's what everybody's looking forward to. Like they're looking for that LA Knight Logan versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania type deal this go around, which would be good, which would be real
Yeah.
good. I'll take that for a night one. Well, yeah, that was that. Like, but yeah, for sure. Like, I didn't mean to cut into the conversation there with
I
that.
mean,
With
it was a
that
big
piece.
thing. It was a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
big thing.
But yeah, um, yeah, like the whole like we were saying the devil thing. And no, like again, like I'm barely really watching AEW myself. Like I'm more so I watch AEW on the timeline, which is
Yeah.
barely on the timeline these days, to be honest. At least on mine, it's not on my like. I mean, for our podcast timeline, of course, that's where we follow most of the wrestling news and you know what's going on and everything like that. But that's the only reason I even know about this devil thing, really, because it never really truly intrigued me like that. It didn't really move me. But if you ask me what if that's AEW's biggest storyline right now, yeah, it is. I mean, like I don't really know what else is bigger than that at this or right now, which is also like again another chink in their armor over there because you got that going on, but you can't get none of the mid card things going on. I can tell you at least three mid card rivalries right now in WWE. And when I say that, I'm not saying it as if, oh, it's always been perfect in WWE. Hell no. Absolutely not. I mean, me, myself, and I'm sure Vin and Ant can also
Mhm.
attest to this when I say there are periods in time where WWE was completely unwatchable. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
unwatchable. Like I'm like, yo, this shit sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like going back to when you were bringing up like how Vince became a literally a a a wrangling brothers and Barney runner of the show in the back where it was just like, yo, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Do they do circuses anymore? Are circuses a thing?
I don't think circus is really truly really a
They get rid
thing
of
anymore because
feel
of
like
the whole
animal
like
cruelty
animal
and
cruelty part of it. You know what I'm saying?
the
Like
whipping elephants and
yeah,
shit. Like
yeah,
nobody
like
wants that.
I, maybe is the universe
Universal
soul
Soul
circus still going
Circus.
on? I think it might be.
You know what? I remember those commercials because as
I
a
do
kid
too.
you would see the commercials for the Barnum and Bailey circus coming to town,
Yeah.
and it'd be like the typical like and then like 5 minutes later you'd see like the Universal Soul Circus.
Universal Circus. Yeah.
Circus.
I remember going to one when I was a kid. I definitely went to one, a Universal Circus before. And it was like I think it was like in Shane Park, uh, in downtown Detroit. I think that's where they used to do the Universal Circus. And I for some reason I feel like that still goes on. Maybe not since COVID, but I think it was still going on
Packing
later.
everyone into a big tent
Yeah,
Yeah.
to watch
Yeah.
wild animals.
because I think like some of my friends who like got kids and stuff like that, like of course, like you see them on Instagram or Facebook and everything like that, and they would have a story of them like taking their kids on a field trip there or something like that. But yeah, I'm not sure, but that goes back to me saying like when we know when Vince got mad Carney and when it was just like, yeah, like this isn't working for me. It's just too colorful. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just not good television. Like that's really what I feel right now with AEW and the lack thereof also in the sense of not making your women important either. Like Tony Storm literally reinvented herself, reinvented her character, and that
Yeah.
should be she should be like
Hey man, look, that timeless Tony Storm
yeah.
character.
Yeah, I mean if timeless Tony Storm was in WWE, bro, come on, man. Like oh, Lacey Evans would have been gone a long time ago if timeless Tony Storm was in WWE.
Hey man, but look, I had to look at this AJ Styles shit.
Yeah.
I was just watching everything, how he
Yeah, no.
jumped the bloodline and then he attacked the LA Knight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever peeped with TNA when he went to that loner gimmick he had where
When he started getting emo and growing
he
his
started
hair
getting
out.
emo.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're going
Oh.
with this shit right now because
It looked because he got on some black pants and shit like that.
Yeah, it was a black. It reminds me of that. Like
Yeah.
you know, what I'm saying he jumped him and then like when he clotheslined James Storm, he clotheslined like LA Knight just like that. So if they about to go back to that gimmick, oh man, that shit's about to be crazy.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty good. I gotta put my phone down. I was looking up the Soul Circus. I looked it up. I was looking at a commercial. It looks really fucking good. I went to see it today. They had like a fucking metal ball, and there's a guy on a motorcycle like riding around.
Yeah,
ball.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember.
It looks more like
Universal
Cirque du
Circus was
Soleil.
different.
Yeah,
it was
Universal Circus
almost.
was
It was kind of like that. Like it was like a real. It was. I mean, of course, it was a hip hop. It was like a hip hop show.
Yeah, hip hop under the big top.
Yeah, like it was crazy. I can't tell you like offhand like exactly what happened when I went because I maybe 11 years old at the time.
But it's a lot better than like I went to one circus in my life when I was like the third grade. We did a field trip, and it was even as a third grade. I was like, this is kind of lame. I don't fucking like
Damn, you know what?
Clowns. Like I hate clowns.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't. I never like clowns.
Fuck clowns.
I hate clowns.
But no, you know what's crazy? Our circuses stink right now.
Well, you must have been looking at the AJ Styles.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about that. Like, I'm really thinking about that now that y'all mentioned that shit. Like,
but that's why I think like the Universal Circus. I think that was
Soul
still
Circus
going
is still
on
going around.
Yeah,
but like the more traditional circuses,
like the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey.
I think they done. So. I think the animal cruelty got them up out of there.
Yeah,
probably did. And then not damn, we going down the rabbit hole right now. Now I'm thinking about the monster truck shows and shit, man. I know those.
The monster truck still
monster trucks still going.
Those still going.
I'm like,
the big Truckosaurus and
Grave Digger. Yeah.
Fuck. I used to remember Bigfoot back in the day too, man. That's a classic.
Bigfoot monster truck.
See, that's what happens when we start talking about Vince McMahon and shit. And you start
he fits all that shit.
Exactly. All that carny shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, but I know usually we talk about when we talk about this week in wrestling, we usually do our hot code trending and everything like that. But I guess it's just a little different this time around. I do want to talk. I want to ask you, Vin, real quick. Like, what to you right now is like the hottest stuff right now? What's popping? What's popping, Vin, right now?
It's popping me in wrestling right now. Honestly, NXT. Wow. I think NXT Deadline was some of the best wrestling I've seen all week. That last 2 minutes of that. I always forget the name of the match. Iron Survivor match. Yeah. Like a new gimmick match. It works. It sounds a little convoluted, but when you see it in action, like it does work.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing at the end of Trick Williams, where it's like he gets all three in a row.
Oh my god, man!
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy.
Man, I was talking to Larry Nelson, I think it was Winston in there too. We were just talking. I'm like, damn. I'm like, yeah, I think Trick about to lose this. He just came out of fucking nowhere, and I'm like, yo! And the crowd went crazy. That's how you make a star.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you make a star.
That's how you make a star, and that's how you make a match. Like a match gimmick work. Because already I was sold on it last year. Like when they first did, I liked the Iron Survivor last year. I was like, this shit is,
the one last year
when Axiom was whooping up, was getting into his Sin Cara bag. Absolutely. Like he was whooping their ass, whooping JD McDonough ass in that penalty box. Like I was getting sold on it last year, and then like you kind of noticed, like, that was that pilot run, right? Because you saw like how they actually moved the penalty box from where it was last year. Last year it was like near the ramp.
Yeah.
This year they put it right next to the ring. So now I think they got it perfected now, because even with the women's was just as good. You know what I'm saying? Like the women's was like, that shit was a banger. of a match.
And I also loved how Brian Breaker just came in, speared the fuck out of three
Oh
people.
man, oh my goodness, yeah.
I thought he was gonna win that shit after that one, and then like they built it so great. Like I thought Josh Briggs might have had it. I thought fucking
and Briggs and not to cut you off, Briggs made himself look like a a budding star. Like he looked like he's going to be something.
Oh, he got it's JBL for him, man. That clothesline he got
that clothesline,
man. That clothesline is beautiful. Like it was that. I'm thinking Dijak about to win it. I'm even thinking I thought everybody was about to win it, but I didn't think Trick was gonna win it. And then Trick come out of nowhere and just
I would even go so far as to say, like, even going back a couple weeks now, I cannot stress enough how much I love that they now do the War Games match as part of Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Because you talk about, like, the worst of recent WWE. Survivor Series. When they would do, like, brand supremacy. Like, everybody put on the red and blue shirts. Like, guys who were just traded to SmackDown expected to be like, I love SmackDown. We got to fight for the honor of SmackDown for some reason. Like, such bullshit. And then, like, a week later, like, nobody remembers anything.
Nobody remembers. Yeah.
Like the last time it was interesting like that was when they threw NXT in there.
Yeah, when they threw NXT in there, and when and of course, which is something to pay like what Becky's doing right now, because literally with that, Becky was able to become the man. When she got hit in the nose by Nia Jax.
And I like that callback they're doing right now.
Yeah, and they're doing a nice callback to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's making their feud interesting. But I do agree, like, the NXT insertion, what was that, 2019? I want to say, that insertion, that's when that's when I liked the brand supremacy. That was like the peak. That was it right there, because we wanted to see the NXT people go against main roster people at that time.
And you want to know who looked great during that men's match? Keith Lee.
Oh yeah, Keith Lee went, because that was Keith Lee and Roman, right? Keith
Keith Lee looked fucking amazing.
And even Adam Cole, like
because I think Adam Cole had that match with Butch because think about it, champion versus champion versus champion. Would you put Adam Cole in the ring with The Fiend and Brock Lesnar?
No, that wasn't gonna happen. No, they would have no.
Yeah, but now they do War Games, and it's like great. It's like it's almost like an evolution of the traditional Survivor Series match.
I kind of want to see Brock in a War Games match,
and it's factions.
Before it's all said and done, I want to see Brock in one of those matches.
I mean, Brock would have to be invited, like how Randy was.
Yeah.
Like that's legit the only way I would see a Brock in a War Games match. Like if we get to see that before Brock, hangs it up or whatever. Like
I at least want to. There's two matches I want to see him in. I want to see him in a fight pit, and I want to see him in a War Games match. I don't think we're gonna get that fight pit.
We ain't getting that fight pit.
I would have loved that fight pit match. I would have loved it, but we're never getting that one, man. Unfortunately.
But I would like to see Brock in a War Games match, but it would have to coincide with like a faction war, almost, so to speak. Like right now, like we see that the bloodline is soon to be over soon. So then next is going to be Judgment Day, but who's coming after the Judgment Day? You know what I'm saying? Like who's after that? Like I think War Games definitely works better with a faction's story being attached to it. Like that's for sure.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is faction wars. Like even when NXT was doing it, if you notice, it was always Undisputed Era in the War Games match.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
Like everybody else they got all their beef with.
Like that first War Game match that they had was fun. It was really fun with them Sanity and AOP and Roderick Strong when he had Roderick Strong had on the AOP fit too. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was just
But yeah, so NXT is one of them things that's hot right now. Right now for you, Vin. I mean, it's I don't think I can leave without talking about we finally got the face-to-face that we have been waiting for.
Yeah, CM Punk and Rollins, man. CM Punk and
Seth. finally face to face. Like, and not only that they were face to face, supposedly there was no script to this, apparently. So, like, how do we feel about that?
I don't believe that there wasn't a script.
Yeah,
There's no way they were just sent out there with no instruction whatsoever on what to do
yeah,
and like how to just go out there. We're not going to give you any time cues, nothing, like no notes. Just go out there and do whatever. No
Yeah,
way
yeah.
that
I
happened.
don't think so. I think it's maybe like 80-20.
Yeah.
80% was script. 20% was, yeah, throw a little seasoning on
Hmm.
top. Throw a little of your own seasoning on top.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's like everybody has this idea in their mind that these two men hate each other. I really think it's a little more overblown than it looks, to be honest with you. Like, I really think that
Yeah.
whatever differences they had is squashed. But is it easy for them to channel that former disdain they may have had or former issues they may have had in this? Yes, I do believe that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, and it works clearly in the art of the conversation that they were having in a ring during this face to face. Like, it worked perfectly, if you ask me. Um, I think it was great that they had this face to face. I think Punk's promo on SmackDown prior to that, when he finally started mentioning names, was great. Um, you know, I think it's enough now to everybody to stop fishing for him to work shoot things. Like, that's not what this
Yeah.
is.
we don't need it. We
We
don't need.
don't need it.
Don't
We
want
never
it.
needed it in WWE. Like, we don't, like, and you look at Cody, for example. You know, him the
You talk. You talk about Carney.
yeah, I mean, like, on top of the
Oh man,
carniness, and yes, Cody and deep into the Cody verse now. I love it. I love where we're going. But with Cody, like, AEW was only came up, maybe two times, and well, outside of that, it's too much story there to talk about work shoot AEW stuff when it comes to people that's coming from AEW. Like, it's too much
Yeah.
history there, and you don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at this point now, it's really about everybody being on notice. I'm back. I'm on Raw. What's up? I want a main event WrestleMania. I want to win a Royal Rumble. And that's what it is. That's all we need there. We got enough. Bring on Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Bring on
Like, so
Philly. Bring on the cheesesteaks and the
yeah,
strip clubs
Mhm.
and
yeah, cheesecake strip clubs. Definitely watch your pockets out there. You know what I'm saying? But yes, bring it on. Like, this is what we've been waiting for, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more from that. Now, I don't know if Punk is going to be on this next Raw. They are supposed to be in Iowa, which is Seth's hometown. So I think it's going to be more focused on Seth and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, they got to get that out the way right now. And even after that shit, I don't even know what you do with Drew McIntyre after that. Probably save it for Sami Zayn or some shit. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think Sammy, he got the torn meniscus right now, so I think he's
No,
gonna
what?
be.
Well, he took a leave of absence. He just
Yeah,
wanted.
well, I think this torn meniscus is probably kayfabe,
Yeah, it's
but
kayfabe.
yeah, I know he wanted some time off,
yeah.
so which is perfectly fine,
Yeah,
and
I
going
thought.
into the holiday, because going into the holiday, they really about to, like, chill a little bit anyway, double taping and stuff like that. So
And you know what? And it got me thinking as to why they did that injury angle with Ilya, because he probably wanted to go back home to his family anyway.
yeah,
So
he probably wanted to
yeah,
go see his son and everything.
probably gave some extra time or something.
Yeah. Yeah, probably so. But yeah, like, we see Punk. He's backstage at damn near every show right now. I don't know if he's backstage
Hmm.
at SmackDown tonight, but he's definitely running around kissing babies, doing the same shit Cody was doing when he got back. So, um, yeah, like, the face off was great. Cody and Nakamura, yes, Yes.
Peak
Yes.
sports entertainment, man. The way
Yes.
he sold that mist. He sold that mist.
Yes. Yes. That's all. Yes. More. The Creed brothers are involved. More. Yes.
Hey man, look, the
Yes.
Creed brothers came and saved our truth and took out 4 of Judgment Day by
They did
themselves.
this. They did this twice in one show. Yes. Give me more. Give me more of those Steiner Creed brothers.
I'm
please.
just curious right now where this Cody shit is gonna go, man. Like I'm curious what his next feud is gonna be. Like who he's gonna do this Kearney shit with this next feud, man.
I don't know. Apparently
I'm
it's all
thinking-
changed the story though.
You know what?
Yeah.
With
So
this
look,
AJ shit, it might be AJ Styles because you know he's probably going to
AJ
end up.
SmackDown.
But Cody's about to go to SmackDown. You know he's going. To
Oh, you mean like after? Okay, so
yeah.
So I mean, like, okay, yeah, because like, come on, man, like we know Cody and Punk. Literally, the Royal Rumble is surrounded around those two. Okay?
And honestly, that's AEW's biggest match. is Cody and CM Punk.
It kind of is.
That's their biggest match, dog.
And it's happening in WWE. But good lord, but the thing is like, okay, like we know, but in terms of like their paths, they're going to be quite different. You know what I'm saying? Like, we both know that these two guys are your main event WrestleMania guys.
Well, I think Punk's going to win the Rumble and Cody's going to win Elimination.
Win the Chamber.
Yeah.
Like I think that's where we are. Because for some reason, I mean, again, like we always have these jokes when it comes to Cody. It's Jesus, give me harder battles. Like literally. So Cody has to go through the gauntlet to get to Roman.
I mean, the gauntlet with Brock was just insane, man. That was an insane.
Well, this is Cody Rhodes, man.
Yeah,
it's going to get even more crazy on the way, bro. It's going to get crazy on the way. Oh
God, man!
So,
you know what, Braun Strowman? I can see him doing a feud with Braun Strowman.
no.
I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen.
The crowd loves Braun Strowman, so it's like you don't see. I don't see a Braun Strowman.
They love that big goof, man.
Yeah.
They love that big goof.
No, what's his cat? Get these yams, whatever he says.
You can get these hands.
Get these hands.
Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre could be the next one. Like I mean, Drew McIntyre after this, not since like we got a ways to go. Let's see, Royal Rumble's the end of January. Then we got Elimination Chamber in February.
Yeah, you know,
it's a lot of weeks.
Man, and Cody's gonna go through the gauntlet and that shit too. He's gonna be the first person in there too, and he's gonna go through the gauntlet on that too.
Yeah, like he gonna go the full mile, man. He's going the mile. He wants the hardest battles.
Somebody's gonna throw him off the top of the Elimination Chamber, and then he's gonna.
Or he's gonna do a moonsault off the top.
He's gonna do a moonsault.
Something crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna do something crazy. He's gonna kick out that too. Like we know this is Cody Rhodes, man. Cody is a showman. Cody is just like his daddy. He's probably gonna end up getting his hand broken or some shit like that. They're gonna end up fighting for Roman at the title. We know what's gonna happen, man.
It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be too much. But I mean, I really don't want to. I don't really need to too much talk about like what's cold and everything like that. I mean, hell, we kind of spent a whole lot of time when it came to AEW talking about what is completely dead cold going on in wrestling right now. But I do want to. There was this a bit of news like for Kenny Omega. You know, there's get well soon.
This is very unfortunate. This is unfortunate.
Yeah, he's diverticulitis is the
Brock Lesnar.
The prognosis. You know, the diagnosis on Kenny Omega now.
What's that? Is that the neck thing?
No, it's a gastric. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing that took Brock Lesnar out of UFC. It was like it's like a intestinal disease.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Man.
So and that took Brock Lesnar out of the UFC. That's why pretty much what kind of brought him back to WWE. And I in terms of like it being curable, I'm not so sure about that. Like I'll have to do some Googles on that and everything. As far as I know, I don't think it is, but
it's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. And you know, for someone like Kenny Omega, again, who's literally dealt with injury after injury after injury, and then now here it is a health concern. Like it's pretty unfortunate. So definitely a good Wilson. So he's out indefinitely now. So
Yep.
there's no telling when he will be back from that. But definitely well wishes for Kenny Omega. Hopefully that may give him time to help book the women better in AEW.
Yeah.
Please, So, but on top of that, just get better, dude. But other than that, man, I don't know if I don't think we got anything else for this week. But Vin, like again, like we thank you a lot for coming on and giving
No,
like
thank you for inviting me.
your analysis and your your knowledge and everything like that. Do you got anything on the way or
I guess just follow. If people want to support what I'm doing, subscribe to Oddball. I recently started the YouTube channel where I post the full episodes, so that's probably the number one way to help is go subscribe. YouTube.com/at Oddball Podcast.
Yes.
And other than that, if you want to listen on Spotify or Apple, it's on there, obviously, and then Wrasslerap, same thing. It's wherever you get your podcasts from. But if you want to just follow me, I'm on Twitter at Mighty Vin, on Instagram at Vin Forte NYC, and all the relevant links will be in the bio on those two accounts.
Yes, sir. And also, if you want someone to talk to Vin, like live, you can also find Vin in the Union Discord.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll pop in there.
Yeah, our Discord that Vin always joins us for live watches and just regular shit talking on a football Sunday or whatever the hell. Sometimes Vin falls asleep in there, and then we bring
because
Vin
you're
back up.
you're up at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
But Vin is a whole lot of fun, man. He always brings really good entertainment and good analysis in the Discord at the same time too. But yeah, again, Vin, we thank you for coming on. And we really appreciate it. We want to do this again for sure too. Have you back on?
Yeah, let's do it.
And you anything coming up? Oh, congrats. 1 year MKU.
Man, boy, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that took a minute, but we here. The video episode will be dropping soon for that. I don't know if anybody listened to it, but the reactions when I had the different liquors in the boxes and shit like that, and people were pulling out 1800 and White Hennessy. So that was fun, man. And also going to announce that MKU will be having a Patreon as well. We are bringing MKU After Dark, so that's going on. That's going on the Patreon, and we got something we're working on called Industry Plan, where that's going to be on the Patreon as well, where we're going to discuss different industry, what we feel is different industry plans in the industry.
Cool. And speaking of Patreon, in case y'all been living under a damn rock or whatever, we have a series that was already announced previously, but I have a series. We're starting a docu-series by the name of Icon. Icon will be a series started on Mid-Carters and Catering Patreon. The first series is going to be Shawn Michaels. I have this getting ready. I'm putting this together. It's kind of a passion project of mine. So I'm getting this together. It's going to be a 3-part series. It is coming soon to the Patreon. So be on the lookout for that. Yep. Should be getting episodes on the way, episodes getting recorded, all types of stuff. I've been hard at work on this. So we got a few people involved in that. Nelson, Gabby, and Larry, all three of them people involved in this. So it's going to be really, really great to do this as well too. So be on the lookout for that. And more Turner Truthers is on the way. Good Lord.
I can't wait till we drop the Mike Awesome. You watch that shit?
Mike Awesome.
Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka.
WCW?
No, man, we watching the ECW. We watching ECW matches, man, where you doing the power bombs to the table. They just power bombing each other to the table. Yes. Oh man. And yes. Winston never seen a Mike Awesome match like this. He was thoroughly pleased, man. I'm like, yeah.
Van, yes.
Real violence.
Yes. That's all I can say. Yes.
We got that. We're gonna the next one we're gonna do because we got to finish up the WCW 2000, but we're gonna do the Sabu versus Terry Funk in the barbed wire match.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's just a cream of the crop of things that's on the way for the Patreon. Remember, you can sign up $3. $3 is all we're asking for. It's already hella content on there right now as we speak.
A lot of WCW 2000.
A lot of WCW 2000. Good Lord. But more to come, of course. But with that being said, also be ready next week live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Twitch. Mid Carter's year-end 23. Let's get it. Let's talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And with that being said, we out of here. Peace. Thank you for listening to Mid Carters and Catering, a weekly podcast focused on pro wrestling. Mid Carters and Catering is produced by Amir Johnson. Written, researched, and hosted by Amir Johnson and Anthony Page. Original score by Justin Motizzi Ward and Aaron A. Train Fuller. Mid